Okay, so we are going to start this session about GWT. I'm very pleased to be with you today and to share our work and our knowledge about GWT. I will probably use the term GWT to qualify GWT because, as you can understand, it's quite long to spell. So I will repeat 1,000 times this word. So we are going to talk about today GWT, okay? So thank you to be there. It's a very short session because sharing with you during half an hour about GWT, it's quite difficult because it's an amazing technology with tons of interesting stuff to share and to demo and to show you. I'm going to split this session in two parts. The first part will talk and present you GWT. What's this new technology? I should not say new technology because it has been created a couple of years ago. But well, for those in this room who doesn't know GWT, it's going to be a short presentation about the technology. And the second part of the session will be a short demo about an application. I'm going to create an application from scratch with you through Eclipse and the Google Eclipse plugin. Before starting, I just want to ask you a few questions about your background regarding GWT. How many of you have already tested GWT? I mean, even a short test with a kind of hello world, okay? And how many of you for whom GWT is something very obscure? Or... Okay, great, fine. So let's go. My name is Sami Jaber. I'm the creator of a small companies which is called DNG Consulting, and I'm also a software architect. I'm the author of books entitled Programmation GWT in French. It's a book which targets GWT 2.0, and I'm working to the for the next version, which is expected to be shipped in the coming weeks. So, in one word, what is DNG Consulting? We are an IT consulting company. We do some training services around G2EE and .NET technologies. So feel free to catch me during the break if you have any question around Java, but other alternative technology also. We have Google Web Toolkit experts in our company, and we work on rich client application also. A little bit of history about GWT. GWT was initially created by a small company at Google and has been open sourced during 2006 summer. The team reached up to 40 contributors, so at that time it was a big developer team. Today it's a large community. The project is hosted at codegoogle.com/webtoolkit. Active forums with a lot of contributors, GWT users or GWT contributors. There are several books in English but also in French, many conferences. More and more applications every day are being migrated to GWT. We are talking about Flash or Silverlight application and so on. The version 1.5 was downloaded almost a million times, which is huge, very huge. So it's a big community. And we have a lot of users all around the world today. The version 2.0, which is a major version, has been shipped during 2010. And the last version is the 2.4, which I'm going to demo you today. The 2.5 version is expected to be shipped around this summer. We hope so. what is the philosophy around GWT? For GWT, a web developer should not be a JavaScript, HTML, or CSS guru. Everybody is talking more and more about HTML5, the API around HTML5, the API around web storage, local storage, and all that stuff. But what we have to understand today is that it's very, very difficult for a newcomer, a new developer, to learn all those technologies. Why? Because HTML5 is about JavaScript, which is a weakly typed language. It's about mastering CSS. It's about mastering many tags, many libs, and so on. So the idea behind GWT is to provide a kind of abstraction around all those different technologies. You code in Java, and a compiler, a kind of magic compiler, will generate all the artifacts, all the JavaScript artifacts, the CSS, and the HTML code for you by hacking around the DOM, okay, the document object model. So, in fact, GWT, it's like a kind of a swing model applications. You know, you code in GWT as you would code in Swing or Windows Form or any kind of rich client application. It has been designed also to be multi-browsers. Natively in GWT, you have all the tools to support IE, Firefox, Opera, and Safari, all those browsers, thanks to something which is called the deferred binding technologies. In fact, you generate many different scripts that will target each browser. So, finally, JavaScript becomes a kind of assembly language for GWT. Nobody in our team debug daily assembly language. So nobody debug daily JavaScript code when we code in GWT. Coding in JavaScript is tricky. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that JavaScript is not a good language. JavaScript is an excellent language. I want to repeat that many and many times. But the fact is that today it's very difficult to find good JavaScript developers because JavaScript is a language which has been created to be dynamic, to target scripting, and so on. So targeting scripting and targeting web application, it's not kind of the same, you know? So JavaScript is a script language poorly mastered today by most developers. On the other hand, we have many Java developers. So it's very easy to find a good Java developers. And if you code in JavaScript, you have a big choice. More than 100 different frameworks, which one to use? Are you going to use jQuery, Prototype, Clojure, XJS, and so on? So, maintainability of big application containing tons of JavaScript code can be a nightmare for somebody who does not master JavaScript, and this is the case. Technical skills required to master HTML5 are numerous. We can find JavaScript, DHTML, CSS, DOM level 0, 1, 2, 3. Well, today it's very difficult if you want an application which is cross-platform, cross-browser in HTML5. You have to master all those different technologies, and it's kind of complex. Well, what I can say to the JavaScript, debugging is kind of tricky also. We can debug JavaScript, but you have to use different plugins, and you target different browser with Firebug or other debugger. We will see that with GWT. It's very easy to debug an application. You just put a breakpoint on the Java application, and you debug this Java application. And at the end, JavaScript is not natively an object-oriented language. At university, we learn to students to program with high-level language. And in general, those languages are object-oriented or functional programming and so on. But it's very rare to find lessons around dynamic programming and so on with JavaScript. So Well, why GWT is cool? GWT is cool because Java is cool. That's it. This is just about GWT is Java. So we like to code in Java. This is why we like GWT. Java is a strongly typed language with compile time checking, polymorphism, refactoring, testability, and so on. So it's very easy to change your code, to refactor, and to see at compile time if you have potential errors. Productivity. This is the other key point of GWT. Before GWT, when you have to estimate a web application, I don't know you, but we at DNG, we have to multiply by 2 or 3 the cost of a web application compared to the same application in a rich client technology like Swing or Windows Form and so on. With GWT, you are able to estimate an application as you would estimate any other normal client-side application. We get code completion thanks to Eclipse or other IDE. In terms of performances, another key point of GWT is the compiler. The compiler will take your Java code and optimize your Java code to reduce in an incredibly way the size of your initial JavaScript that will be generated. So it's always interesting to prune the code that you don't use in your application. Everybody code with not useless code, but you forget to call this function or this procedure. With the compiler, we'll prune all the API which are not used by GWT. The frameworks eliminates JS memory leak, and you pay only for what you use. In terms of performances, here we have the Web 1.0 and the Web 2.0. Ajax programming. I won't repeat all the stuff around Ajax, but we migrate all the code on client side. So that's more performant compared to applications which are hosted on the server, and you perform a lot of postbacks between the client and the server. So the big picture of GWT, it's just about this slide. We have one code Java base, one Java code base, sorry, and you click on a button or you compile your application, and this magic compiler will generate permutation. A permutation is a script which is loaded by your browser the first time you access your application. If you have Firefox, you will certainly load the Firefox permutation, which is code very specific to Firefox, optimized for Firefox. Okay. And if you have, we have today 5 or 6 browser, we will have 5 or 6 permutations. If you have an iPad, you will have probably something for iPad or for mobile and so on. A short word about GWT components. You have there checkboxes, list, text box, labels, tree, data grid. Well, other kind of library which have to be provided for a client-side technology. In terms of tooling, if we can develop application with GWT very quickly, it's also because we have a plugin which is installed in Eclipse. And you can design in a WYSIWYG way your screens. You can use the wizards to generate a short amount of code and so on. So I'm going to demo you how we can create an application from scratch, and I'm going to show you some code around GWT. So let's create a new application with the plugin. Everybody can download this plugin, it's free, all is open source. Project name, my project, EDT, okay. And com.my package. Okay, I don't want to target cloud deployment. I click on finished. And you can see a small skeleton of a small sample of application. This sample is all is in Java. We can see the client-side part of the application, which will generate JavaScript code, but you code in Java. This is the main here. On-module load will be called the first time that you load your browser, and this is Java code that you have there. Okay, you can breakpoint, watch any variable, and so on. On the server side, we have some services, RPC services. How we run this application, run as web application, like that. It's very simple. You can see in the development mode window the launch of GWT, which is a small web server hosted in Eclipse, this way. Okay, oh, I have previously launched GWT, so I rerun twice the application. Now I will double click on that links, and we can show Firefox with the URL, and you will see the small sample which has been generated by the Eclipse plugin there. So it's quite long the first time, but after having launched the GWT, now you can see this is a web application, which is kind of weird here, kind of strange. It's that this is a Java code which is executed there. We use the browser only for the display. All the events and all that stuff are handled by the shell which is hosted in Eclipse. So if I click on send, I can put a breakpoint on the Java code, and you will see Eclipse which raises and highlights the code that you want to watch. Okay, you can drag and drop. This is an Ajax application. Okay, if you want to change anything in the code, for example, there. Okay, I have 5 minutes. For example, I'm here, and I will change. Please enter 4 characters. No, let's change this one. The 2 shortcuts to master with GWT are Control-S, refresh. Okay, so I Control-S there in Eclipse, and I refresh the code, and you can see other user. Okay, so this is very straightforward, very easy, and very productive. If we want to add another type of screen, which is an XML screen using an API which is called UI Binder with GWT, we just click on this small wizard, my screen, like this. I generate a small sample. And now you will see a WYSIWYG designer which use XML under the cover. Okay, so you can change like you would do in Flex or Flash, all that, and WPF, all that kind of rich client technologies. I click on the Design tab, and I can see here the WYSIWYG mode with a palette and many interesting stuff. I can drag and drop the components, the labels, the checkbox, and many interesting things. So it's quite long because I have launched the GWT mode, but well, here we go. The palette. Hello. I can change the text here. Okay. I can drag and drop any the menu, for example, menu bar. Okay. I put a menu bar. I put a sub menu like this, menu item. Okay. I can preview that this way. I can save it. And if I launch my screen, I can add this screen with the Java code. All those framework will generate Java code that will be translated and compiled in JavaScript at the end. Okay, I'm going to finish with the last slide, talking about GWT 2.5. So we have many new features which are expected to come during the summer. We hope so. The super dev mode, which is a kind of JavaScript, will be generated and will be able to breakpoint the final JavaScript code. In fact, the JavaScript that you generate, you will be able to put some breakpoints around this code. JS Closure Compiler. What is Closure Compiler? It's a compiler which has been designed by Google to compile JavaScript to JavaScript, which is interesting if we want to optimize things, mimification, obfuscation, and so on. Another nice feature, code splitting 2, which is the optimization of the current code splitting 1. For big application, you will be able to handle less leftover fragments with less size. And many bug fixing around this release. The map support in Request Factory and so on. Here we go. I don't know if you have any question. This is the end, so great. If you have any question regarding GWT and, well, yes, you can ask in French and I try to translate with my poor English. Okay, the question is about trying to find third-party library for the components. It's a very common question which is frequently asked. So today, the current components library, I don't want to say that it's kind of poor, but that's it. It's very weak compared to other library like GWT and so on. So we don't know, probably in the future, Google will try to improve this set of components, but today, no, it's not the case. So if you have some needs, some very complex needs in terms of ergonomy, I advise you to go outside the GWT world and to buy other open source or commercial products. That's what this is what we do today for our customers, unfortunately.
Does that mean that you cannot implement your own?
You can absolutely implement your own component, but it's about the cost. If it costs you more to implement your own components compared to something that is shipped in the market, that's probably more interesting to take something in the market compared to a custom development. Yeah? A new version for the 2.5, yeah, the 2.5. Yeah. At that time, I cannot answer for Google. So it's kind of complex today because everybody is talking about many rumors around GWT compared to a new technology which has been created by Google, which is called Dart, which is not Java. It's kind of scripting language. But the fact is that today the GWT team is hosted in Atlanta, and Google headquarters is in Mountain View. Many people from the Atlanta team went to create other small startup companies, and Google is trying to figure out how they can merge the team in Mountain View. So there's nothing official today. It's going to be probably announced at the end of the month during Google I/O, but GWT is not going to die. I want really to insist on that. There are going to be a kind of merge of different technical teams with probably the same manager or the same department. I don't know the details of that, but I can say that it's not the end of GWT. Be sure of that. Yeah?
Is plan or is there a chance for a generator not for JavaScript, but for example for
Really, I cannot answer to this question because I don't think so. Today, we can write in other language than Java. We can write in Scala and generate JavaScript. You can generate Dart also, but generate something which is not a platform which can be executed in a browser, I'm not sure of that. But well, it's a good question that I can ask to Google. Yeah? The backend. What is interesting with GWT, it's not, you can choose any backend you want. You can have a backend in PHP, in .NET, and expose your service with REST, and design your client in GWT in Java, and generate the JavaScript code. So really, it's not a problem. What we love with GWT is the homogeneity of the platform. We like to code in the client side in Java, and in the server side in Java, and share the same types. You know? So if you want to code in .NET or PHP or other technology in the server and other technology in the client, you can and share the services with REST. But well, I'm not sure that this is the best option to take. Yeah?
One tricky task when dealing with user interface applications is the testing phase.
Yeah.
When you want to set up continuous integration, do you have any information about some frameworks which are more targeting
You have a lot of open source framework which try to optimize the way we test the GUI application in GWT. I don't know if there's something in the pipe which will be integrated in GWT core, but you can find many frameworks which target testing with GWT. But this is true that today it's quite long to test all those GUI components because you have to launch something which is called the GWT test case mod, and this is kind of shell that you run and you host your component in this shell and you try to automate the components. Okay, thank you. Feel free to catch me during the break session if you have any other questions in French or in English.